The first ever Miami Grand Prix is just around the corner, and that promises a lot of spectacle. F1 has moved heaven and earth to have an extra race in America, and they finally succeeded. And yeah, it's sure to be an exciting race between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen for the victory, as we've seen in the first 4 races this season. But on to the Miami Grand Prix. Since Liberty Media took over F1 from Bernie Ecclestone, there was one clear goal: Formula 1 had to grow in America. F1 itself had to be more attractive with new cars and new formats for a race weekend, but above all, they had to have more racing in America. In addition to the US Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, the US needed one more race, or potentially 2. In 2022, the second race will finally be on the F1 calendar with the arrival of the Miami Grand Prix. Fans and drivers do welcome a race in the popular city, but the city itself, there was a lot of resistance. In 2018, the first proposal was to appear on the calendar in 2019, but problems with the location in the port of Miami caused a postponement until 2021. The location became more downtown Miami, with a circuit around the Hard Rock Stadium, but 2021 was also not met. The GP of Saudi made its debut instead when Miami's debut in 2022, after having to win several court cases from the locals due to noise. But anyway, onto the track itself. Miami International Autodrome, as the track has been called, is a street circuit designed by Apex Circuit Design. It's not a typical new circuit, but at first glance it seems particularly interesting. It has few corners with long straights, a slow section with tight corners, and medium and high speed corners, so there's something for everyone in Florida. The circuit is 5.412 kilometres long and 19 corners. The start finish is not very long, so there'll be no fast overtaking at the start. From turn 8 to 11, however, there is a long section where the slipstream and DRS can do their work, with turn 11 also serving as a heavy braking zone for a slow corner as an additional way. From turn 16 to 17, there is again the case. There are 2 stretches, therefore, that overtaking is expected the most. When Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen split the first 5 races between them in 2021, eventually won 18 out of the 22 races together, we see the unfolding scenario again in 2022 with Charles Leclerc and Verstappen, each winning 2 of the first 4 races. However, because Verstappen retired in the other 2 races, his deficit to Monegasque is already 27 points. Before his victory in Leclerc's spin in Imola, however, it was many more. Ferrari and Red Bull are also fighting for the team's championship. After a difficult weekend for the Italians at home, Red Bull has come back to within 11 points. Mercedes and McLaren are far behind them in points and on track performance, and will have to come a long way to compete for victories this year. Perez and Sainz are important in this respect in the fight for their teams. Perez is doing good business with a 3rd place in the championship and 2 podiums in the last 2 races. Sainz is in lesser form. Despite new contracts, he finished in the gravel in Australia and Imola, although the last time was through no fault of his own. But anyway, not surprisingly, it will be hot in Miami. According to weather.com, it will be a maximum of 30 degrees and on Friday, and that temperature will rise over the weekend to 32 degrees on Sunday. Friday and Saturday will also be mostly sunny, but showers are expected on Sunday. There is a 31% chance of rain that will fall, but the question is how much will it affect on track conditions with these temperatures, and that certainly will be interesting to see if we get another wet race potentially. But anyway, ahead of the race weekend at a circuit we've never been to, it's difficult to predict who will be in charge. In any case, it will be between Red Bull and Ferrari, but on such a narrow street circuit you shouldn't rule out a surprise. A safety car at the wrong time can put you in a lucky position to potentially win. The slow part of the circuit speaks in Ferrari's favour, and with the F175, you would therefore say Leclerc and Sainz could have the advantage on Saturday. However, during the race, Verstappen and Perez have tremendous speed on the straights, and the question is whether they will be able to use it like they did in Saudi Arabia. The only street race already held this year, Red Bull took pole and victory. In the background, team's performance fluctuate. Mercedes is in 3rd in the points, but 11th and 13th places during qualifying gave a different picture in Imola. And McLaren looked better again, but how will the MCR36 hold up with heavy braking zones in Miami? Alfa Romeo, Haas and Alpine have also shown they're competitive and may be in good shape around Miami. But before I go, the timetable for this weekend, just quickly run through it because of course it's a new race in the UK. First pre-practice is 7:30 to 8:30, and practice 2 is 10:30 to 11:30 in the evening, so a late one. And then on Saturday you've got 3rd pre-practice from 6 till 7, qualifying 9 till 10, and the race starts at 8:30. So 8:30 start. I thought we had that for a race last year, Saudi maybe. We've got one of those again. But yeah, it's looking like an exciting weekend. Before the race or practice even started, before the Miami Grand Prix, the main talking point in the paddock seemed to be jewellery, and yeah, this whole spat that's been going on for numerous weeks now. I mean, like, yeah, it's just the stupidest thing ever, really, isn't it? Lewis Hamilton turned up to the press conference with multiple watches, rings on every finger, and all of that. It just seems like an ongoing thing, but hopefully it'll be done and dusted soon, with some compromise, because yeah, this just seems a bit ridiculous. But away from that, with the Miami Grand Prix, as you'd expect, loads of stuff going on before the race, which was all pretty cool as well. But moving on then to the on-track action, and yeah, in practice one, it was kind of a session which you couldn't read too much into, really, because it was just drivers feeding out the track more than anything, really. And yeah, it did see a collision for Valtteri Bottas towards the end of the session, and that meant he couldn't go out for practice 2, which is a bit of a shame. But Charles Leclerc topped the session, Russell up there as well, and it kind of does signs of Mercedes really coming back into it. But Albon was only 7/10 off P1, so yeah, you couldn't read much into it. But moving on then to practice 2, and yeah, it gave us a more representative feel. And it was George Russell, believe it or not, topping the timings for Mercedes, ahead of Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton in 3rd, and Sergio Perez in 4th. And yeah, could we finally have a freeway scrap? It certainly seems like there's a chance of that, and wouldn't that just be wonderful? Yeah, of course it would be. Also had a crash for Carlos Sainz, which meant he lost running, and a hydraulic issue for Max Verstappen as well. So really big shame for them, because they needed the running. But yeah, I mean, except for that, it looks really close between top 3 teams. I'm so hyped for tomorrow and Sunday now with 3 teams in it. It's going to be great. And yeah, race pace doesn't look a million miles away from each other as well, so it's going to be a fascinating few days at Miami. And before I go, my predictions for this weekend, and yeah, for me, I'm going to say pole for Max Verstappen. Yeah, he's just looked really good this season, the races where he's actually been able to finish, and I think new street circuit, he may master it, unlike Jeddah, where he kind of screwed up in the last corner. I'm going to say he's going to successfully get pole in the first race for a new street circuit. I'm just going to say he's carry over to the win with Leclerc in second. I think it'll be close this weekend. Maybe Red Bull just about have the fastest car. So yeah, I'll say Leclerc in second, kind of recovering a bit from Imola, with Perez in 3rd, because he just seems to be on a bit better form than Perez and Sainz are at the moment. But yeah, it should be an interesting race. But anyway, guys, that's it for the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and thoughts, comments down below. Follow us for things, for daily F1 news, and subscribe to the channel on the screen, and I'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.